the cage with insects. Best greetings from collection. Today we will be talking about collections of insects. I have showed you different insects in cages live. Yes, living collections are very interesting. But I also showed you some insects died in collection, and it can be possible to collect them in different natural habitats and different groups. So there is a question, what is the collection? What is the meaning of collection? What is the importance of collection? And why do people collect in insects? Today we will be showing different insects in collection, and I can show you some beetles, bugs, wasps, bees, different groups of insects which are dry and stored in collection for educational purpose. Of course, some insects are dangerous. It's quite difficult to collect them. It's quite difficult to save them in collections. But this is kind of my outreach activity to show you some samples of insects for education, because it's quite difficult to show many insects in natural environment. And this insect is European hornet, Vespa. Of course, it's quite funny, quite interesting to show you it natural environment, but it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of efforts, and this is another type of opportunities to show you dry insects in collection. And now you can observe insects, some vouchers, there are some samples where you can get some image, some details of morphology, and I can explain biology, you can explain ecology, trophical relations, evolution of different insects. Watching them in collection, which consist dry or just wet samples. Dry saved because insects can be dried easily, and wet insects, some larvae of insects can be saved wet in alcohol or in some other substances. And we can observe different morphological features on collected material. Like here, we are observing European hornet, which is a big one, which is very interesting. You cannot observe it so carefully in natural environment because it needs to take a lot of time. It's a little bit dangerous, and always you need to spend a lot of time to search. Here you can see queen of European hornet. Queen of European hornet with extended sting, which is directed to the European honeybee. So you see, European hornet 4 times bigger than honeybee. These are 2 queens and 1 underdeveloped queen, probably infested with virus because of some wings have not been developed. So wing deformation virus, probably the same virus which can infect honeybees, because it's very famous virus which is infecting sometimes honeybees. Honeybee colonies can be suffering with losing wings. Wing deformation virus, very dangerous. So possibly it can be transmitted from one species to another, like from wasps, hornets to honeybees and vice versa. And down there you can watch for pupa of European hornet, which I took off from the cell of colony. And here you can watch for queen of hornet, yellow jacket wasp, Paravespula, and with very long antenna, male or drone of European hornet, Vespa carabra. So today we will be watching for bees, hornets, wasps, beetles, and others. So for comparison, I can show you small wasps, like wasp of genus Paravespula, Paravespula germanica, which are smaller. Queens are bigger in the central part, and workers are smaller up there. So you see, they're much smaller rather than European hornet. Unfortunately, they're a little bit dark because they dried slowly and slightly damaged their natural color. Natural color is yellow with black stripes. So the same as color for European hornet, but which are much bigger in size. Where you can collect insects, how you can collect them for collection. You can collect insects and some samples and some other arthropods even at home. What you can collect? Okay, you can collect such creatures. Who's this one? Who is this one? So this is black cockroach. Yes, the female and male. So a different one. And small different stages of development of cockroaches. So this is collection of home insects. And in the center, this is not insect. This is Scutigera, centipede, with 15 long legs. Sometimes you can catch it, or you cannot catch it, you can find it, you can observe it for a few seconds somewhere in a toilet or in a bathroom. This is Scutigera, with multi-legs, 15 pair of legs, which is very useful predator in your bathroom, which is can catch the same cockroaches somewhere in the bathroom or in toilet as a predator. And moving very fast, you can catch, can be great hunter for cockroaches and some other arthropods at home. So don't kill this funny Scutigera with so many legs, which is moving so quickly, even on sometimes on ceiling, not only on floor, on walls of your bathroom. Of course, probably this Scutigera, this centipede, which belonging to Hylopoda arthropod, cannot catch such big insect as a cockroach. American cockroach, German cockroach, other one, or even larvae of cockroaches. As here, you can see how they are growing slowly. You can catch, they cannot catch cockroaches, but they can catch just small larvae, definitely. So they can be considered as beneficial insect. What kind of other insects you can find at home? You can find, for instance, some pets, some lovely pets at home. Who are pets? Some cockroaches can be considered as pests, and some are as pets. For instance, you see here, Madagascar cockroach. This is not a pest, this is a pet, which is breeding in some cases in zoo, and some breeders are breeding them very easily. And you can see here, these are tiny cockroaches, the progeny of this Blatta orientalis, which lay in such kind of oat egg, group of eggs in such a box in oat egg. And they're emerging from this type of oat egg. But a Madagascar cockroach doesn't lay such kind of oat egg. It's giving a birth just precisely live birth of larvae. And this is just skin of cockroach, because cockroaches, they are growing slowly. They're changing their skin because of their metamorphosis, not like in butterflies, hemimetabolous metamorphosis. Cockroaches are growing slowly, their appearance just staying the same. And cockroach is taking off the skin, like here. This is just cockroach, and this is the skin of larva cockroach, previous stage. So they're taking off skin and growing slowly, step by step, increasing in size. So this is a smaller stage, and this is a bigger one, and this is a biggest cockroach, Madagascar cockroach, probably already adult. And I guess probably the male, because it has some horns. Madagascar cockroach is bred at captivity by many breeders, just for fun, and sometimes as a food for some lizards, for some other animals which are bred in captivity, for some monkey as a natural food. And you can see here small, just molted and emerged larvae of cockroaches. Not Madagascar cockroaches, but this one, Blatta orientalis, small one. This is a female, laid such kind of group of eggs. That's why in some cases you cannot see big cockroach at home in your bathroom, but you can observe very tiny cockroach, very tiny creature which is crawling very fast, moving very fast. And who are them? These are larvae of cockroaches, which is just very much irritating, but you need to avoid them, you need to get rid of them, because we will be growing and becoming as a big one, Blatta orientalis, for instance, or Blatta germanica. In some cases you can find at home such noisy, such irritating, such unpleasant creatures as flies. Many flies, like here. Flies were flying somewhere around your fruits, around your vegetables, near your rubbish box. And who are these? In many cases these can be this type of wasps, which are Drosophila, fruit flies. So many of them flying because they can find food in rotating fruits. So you see how many of them can be collected on rotating fruits. But Drosophila is a very famous subject of genetical studies, because it's developing very quickly. During 1-2 weeks you can receive next generation, to observe some crossbred lines, to observe different mutations, to observe different changes in wings, antennae coloration or absence of wings. And funny case that these Drosophila flies, they are developing in special cocoons which are called puparium. Here in the center you can see puparium, because this is pseudo-cocoon, pseudo-pupa. Pupa is inside this puparium. And this puparium, which you can watch in the center, is intended for protection, but it's not well protected against parasitoids, because there are some kind of parasitoids which can attack them and destroy easily. But you can also find another flies like this one, which can also easily infest different rotating fruits, and we can infest some food substances in your kitchen, in your room, or near your house, near your building. This is also some kind of irritating fruit flies which are flying around your house. So that's why in some cases you can find very small insects. And another group is Phoridae, very tiny Phoridae flies, which are not presented here. These are not Phoridae, these are different one. So many flies are attracted to food which is smelling very well and very good substance for development of different fruit flies in your kitchen, in your home, in your garden, in orchard. So that's why if you avoid them, you need to clean your kitchen, your building, your dustbin more often as possible. More often and often as possible. In some cases you have garden, you have orchard. In your garden and your orchard you can find a lot of different interesting insects, like these ladybugs, ladybirds. And who are them? They are beneficial insects because they are hunting for some sucking flies which are developing on your trees, on your flowers. And who is this? Beetles. These are Harmonia oxyrides, small Asian ladybird or ladybug. Harmonia oxyrides. It's quite interesting to see the importance of collection here, because you can recognize that many of these beetles are different in appearance. So you can see some of them brown, some of them yellowish with some spots, some even dark or just black. And I can show you more individuals with different coloration. So this is a variation of different specimens which can be better recognized on educational collection. So for instance, you see here mostly yellowish and brown specimens, and here you can recognize bigger spots, Harmonia oxyridis, small Asian ladybug, ladybird, and many individuals with black coloration and big spots. So it's easy to recognize that some of them are yellow with black spots and some are black with yellow spots. They are pretty common in Europe, in European countries, but originally they originated from Southeast Asia. They have been introduced more than 100 years ago to Europe and North America, and it's considered to be an invasive species which became nearly as native, but is more persistent and can survive easily natural environment, sometimes making large populations. These are ladybugs, ladybirds, nice, quite colorful beetles, which are predators on some tiny small sucking aphids, pests of your orchard. So in some cases they can be beneficial, in some cases people are breeding them and selling to control as biological control agent to control aphids, sucking insects in your orchard. But in some cases, in case of migration, in cases of lack of food, they can be also considered sometimes as pests, because they can feed on some fruits, on some vegetables in scarcity of food. So they can migrate. If we cannot find some natural food as aphids on plants, they will eat your fruits. So surprisingly. That's why when I say these are not predators, these are not beneficial, some people are surprisingly talking to me, but they are bred in laboratories. They have been distributed in many cases. Yes, they can eat some aphids as predators, and they can be beneficial, but in some cases they can be dangerous and can eat your fruits. That's a big surprise, because this is invasive species, not natural for our environment, not natural for Europe, because this is small Asian ladybug, small Asian ladybird. We can watch for some other insects. These are another beetles. These are another beetles. Beetles belonging to weevils in the center. Where these are weevils. These are tiny weevils, genus Lixus. Their larvae are developing inside some plants, inside stems of plants. So that's why they're so big. They can be developed this size about 15 millimeters, 10-15 millimeters. Family Curculionidae, weevils. They have very special elongated mouth parts, elongated part of head. Weevils can be big one, up to 2 centimeters and even bigger. Some can be very small, up to 1 millimeter. Curculionidae is a huge family, huge group of insects. And here you can recognize some beetles with very long antennae. They are longhorn beetles, Cerambicidae, and some tiny beetles with very special coloration and very special appearance. These are Scarab beetles, Scarabiidae. They're very famous, very common for collecting purposes. Some people do like collect them because they're very different And some of the Scarab beetles were not only pests like down there, like Japanese beetle. It's a very important pest in Southeast Asia and even in North America. But this is another species of Scarab beetle. So they are not only pests of different plants, because they are feeding on fruits, on stems, on leaves, but some of them they have a big size. Some Scarabidae are huge, so they are a very nice subject of collecting. Many people collect them for exhibition purpose, just for collection. Today we are watching for different entomological collections. We are watching for different groups of insects. And this part is devoted to beetles. So you can recognize here different beetles of different families. Left side, this is a Carabidae beetle, and the right side Carabidae beetle. And in the center Cryptocerina, this is leaf beetle of Chrysomelidae, family Chrysomelidae. And upwhere, big one, this is a genus Dorcus, family Lucanidae. Wood-bearing insect larvae is developing under the bark of trees inside the wood. So you see here several individuals of ground beetles or Carabidae. Some of them were shiny, greenish, violet, blue and violet, so they are very colorful. Very important predators, important biological control insect, which are controlling different phytophagous insects and different other small predators in garden, in orchard, in a natural field, and even in agricultural environment, which is not too much polluted with chemicals. So very important biological control agent, controlling different groups of pests. Because they have strong mandibles, they can feed on different groups of insects. So here, up where we are observing on the right side, this is a Lucanidae, genus Dorcus. In the center, this is Dermistidae, skin damaging insect. Dermistidae, left side, this is Tenebrionidae. I guess, yes, tiny, small Tenebrionidae, just under them, just small round beetle, Carabidae. Up where, four individuals, right. Up where with elongated body, this is a family, click beetles. Click beetles, family Elateridae. Next one is also Elateridae. Many cases where phytophagous, were living under the bark of trees, inside roots of trees, some bulbs of different agricultural crops. They can live even in potato bulbs. So some of them were pests, some of them were just part of ecological system. And they click beetles because if they turn on their back, they're just moving very quickly. They're clicking, making a noise, making nice jump. And click beetle will try to escape, and they can fly very well, especially in evening time. Some of them were flying even in daytime. So you see here, Elateridae, Dermistidae, Tenebrionidae, Carabidae, Chrysomelidae, Lucanidae. Well. What can I show you? Some cases of bumblebees, like here. Some examples of bumblebees. This is a Bombus lapidarius with red top of body, and some other creatures on the right side, which were looking like wasps, yellow coloration, and they are buzzing sometimes. But these are not wasps. This is kind of mimicry. These are syrphidae flies. Syrphidae flies were larvae are predator and just adults were feeding just only on flowers. But this kind of mimicry, when their appearance looks like some other insects. So these flies, 3 flies in the center and 1 bumblebee on the upper side, then honeybee. And these 3 flies, we have a case of mimicry. It looks like funny wasp and dangerous, stinging wasps. But they are not stinging, fortunately. Can be easily collected for study of biodiversity and study of their trophical relations. And they can be easily identified as flower flies. I can show you some other groups of flies or diptera, so you can recognize how many different flies have different appearance. In some cases, when people collecting insects, people collect them not only so carefully on cotton layers, put them in cotton. In some cases, people collect insects and put them just on plates to save them before mounting, if there is a limited time, or for cases of exchange in material. It's quite easy to put these flies and other insects like that, and then send them in packages from one collector to another collector, or from one researcher to another researcher. I received it from one of my friends who gave me it as a gift. He collected different groups of insects, even surprisingly difficult to say who is inside. It needs to take all individuals out for careful observation and careful mounting. So you can see here there are some bees here. I can show you by forceps. This is a bee. This is a bee. This is a parasitoid of Ichneumonidae. This is a cuckoo bee. And these are different flies. Diptera. This is syrphidae flies, flower flies. This syrphidae fly, and some different groups of flies. For instance, here, one fly is separate. Bombylidae with very long mouth parts. I can show you some other. Some other insects which are mounted on plates. It's easy for transportation, for saving insects, but more difficult for mounting, for identification. Here are different groups. Here some Hymenoptera and some Diptera, some Tachynidae flies. Tachynidae flies, predaceous flies, and this is probably very tiny, small sawfly, Hymenoptera. This is Hymenoptera. Okay. One tiny spider wasp I show you. And show you spider wasp, predaceous wasp, which is hunting on spiders. Most famous is the tarantula hawk moth. Everybody has seen video of hawk moth hunting for tarantula, which is big one, huge one, but many species are like invisible, they're very small. They're hunting for spiders somewhere on the ground. They're moving very fast on the ground, hunting and bringing the prey, spiders, to their nest. This is another one with black color. Usually we have either black color or sometimes with red. With red abdomen. So this is spider wasp, Pompilidae family. You see here some paper wasp ballistas can be mounted on plate as well. Some tiny Halictide wasp, Halictide solitary bees. You can put like this some moths, like that. This is not very big moth. Can be easily mounted like that, just on plate. Some funny flies. I guess Tabanidae, or maybe another one. I'm not sure about family. You can write in comments what family is this. Some interesting flies. Some tiny crickets. Some tiny crickets. Size about 10 millimeters. Some red Ligidae family bugs, which looks like a Pyrocorysopterus, but these are not Pyrocorysopterus. These are different bugs, completely different, but coloration is similar. Similar to soldier flies. So you see here, interesting creature, which looks like a you can write in comments who is this, which looks like a tarantula, looks like scorpion. This is a scorpion fly, which has a very special appearance on the top of body. Scorpion fly. Let's one tiny wasp, parasitic wasp, order Hymenoptera. You can see here some beetles. Some beetles are coming to our exposition. Now we're observing Aquatic beetles. Predaceous diving beetles. Family Dytiscidae. Dytiscidae, predaceous diving beetles. They are hunting on different other insects which are living in water. Predaceous diving beetles. Oh no, yes, some of them. This is probably genus Acilius or Agabus. In the aquatic environment you can find also some mites, like these Exodus mites. You can collect them and save them carefully as well. Exodus mites. On this place, some insects are better saved because we have some protection against some pests. If insects are carefully saved in collection, we can be protected against some other bugs, other beetles which can eat them. So it's quite important to close them carefully to avoid infestation by some beetles. So you see dumpster flies, lesters, because now we are watching for some aquatic insects. Dumpster flies, some funny aquatic bugs and beetles. Here some bugs, Hemiptera and Coleoptera. Sorry for some reflection. Aquatic bugs and beetles. Predaceous bugs and beetles. Here some aquatic bugs. Notonectidae. Notonectid family. Notonectidae. Some predaceous bugs are very small. Some are bigger. I'll show you a little bit. So this one is small. This one is bigger. Also aquatic bug. Some lovely aquatic beetles. Two groups of aquatic beetles are presented. The Hydrophilidae and Dytiscidae. Hydrophilidae is phytophagus and Dytiscidae are predaceous diving beetles. Here there is a bug as well. Some aquatic beetles are very small, but very interesting for identification, to recognize the biodiversity of aquatic beetles. Biodiversity of beetles in different natural environment. Thank you to Edward. Thank you for a collector who sent us this material. I really appreciate his kind help. This is a gift of one entomologist who sent me these beetles for my educational activity. where I can show you for you. I can show you for specialists for precise identification. Whereas these are middle-sized aquatic beetles, and some of them really tiny, very tiny aquatic beetles, size about 5 millimeters. Five millimeters and even smaller, 2 millimeters sometimes. I put them back to the jar. I can show you some other beetles of bigger size. Yes. Which one? I can observe different. I can watch round beetles. Some nice round beetles, family Carabidae. Majority of Carabidae beetles are predators. Some can be even phytophagous. Even some pests of agriculture. Majority are predators, like this one. Some can be very big size. We have a very big size. Sorry, I closed the jar. They can be easily collected in different types of traps. Round beetles. They need to be mounted on pins very carefully. But before mounting, they can be sorted and saved even on these plates. These are round beetles. You can select them one by one. Some Carabidae are very colorful. It's quite difficult to collect them because they are very quick. If you don't use traps, because this is Cicindelidae, Cicindella. They are running very quickly. They are very fast. But if you are attentive, you can collect them as well. Because they fly quickly but randomly. And with entomological net, you can easily collect them. Sometimes in the trap, you can collect even many individuals, like here. This is many individuals which can be used for study of some variation in morphological features. Here many individuals. Probably the same collecting place. Some beetles are very common for collection. Many people like to collect big beetles. These beetles are not very big, but very, very common for collecting purposes. These are Dorcus beetles, males and females. Wood inhabiting beetles. They have big mandibles. Males have usually males with bigger mandibles and females with smaller mandibles. Some Leucanidae are very famous for collecting. So these are Dorcus beetles. Which are collected in Ukraine. Family Leucanidae. Here another family. We have to watch them already. This is a Scarab beetles. Scarab beetle. Many species are pests. This is not probably pest. Some Scarab beetles are small. This is about 10 millimeters, and some of them even smaller, 6 millimeter size. Some they have very nice appearance, like that. Big Scarab beetles are very famous for collections. And these are small beetles. But small beetles are very famous and very important for biodiversity study, for their identification. The smaller the more interesting. The smaller the funny to identify it, to be precise what is the species. Okay, for example, some Scarab beetles are very tiny. Many species developing on dung. Some of them are called dung beetle. So they have a group of tiny dung beetles. They have about 3 millimeter size. Interesting for identification, interesting for study of different morphological differences. So these are funny tiny dung beetles, family Scarabidae, Scarab beetles. Some Scarab beetles are very well known, very common, especially in springtime, like these beetles. Subfamily Cetoniidae. They have similar shape, but many different species. Like this one are not hairy, and this one are very hairy. Very hairy body. Oh, like this one. Again, no, not hairy. Oh, like this one. You can separate them one by one. Today we had some opportunities to watch for some beetles, some bees, some wasps, even some moths. I have more insects in my collection, and more beetles, more different bugs. So if it is interesting for you, you can write in comments which insects are you studying, which insects are you collecting, which group of beetles, wasps, bees or other groups of insects are interesting for you, which traps do you use, which methods of collecting are you using for your study. It will be interesting to discuss it in comments or in private messages. So you can use different methods for collecting. You can find different groups of insects for collections. You can make collection for scientific purpose. You can make collection for outreach activities, for educational purpose. Some professional entomologists are studying taxonomy and biodiversity of insects. Some outreach activities is intended for some education of people to show the importance of beetles, bugs, moths, wasps, bees in ecological system. For nature conservation, it is important to explain people that insects are an important part of our ecosystem. You don't need to kill insects, you don't need to destroy beetles. If they look strange, it doesn't matter that you need to kill them. If they look interesting, they're very colorful, they're very attractive. If they're strange like these red bugs, so they can be important in ecological system too. If they are funny like these dorcus, save them. They can live in your terrarium, so you can observe for their behavior. You can make, after their death, you can make their collection for education, for exposition. You don't need especially kill all the insects just without any purpose. If you're interested in identification, you can collect insect, unusual insect, and you can ask specialist, professional entomologist for precise identification to know precise name of this or that group of insects. If you have questions about identification, you can ask also me about identification by email or through social media. Write your questions in comments, write your questions in chat as well in my next streams. And this is wood-bearing beetle of family Cerambicidae, longicorn beetle. Longicorn beetle. And this is Scarab beetle, which is commonly flying in June time. Not now, not in September. Thank you for coming to our stream. Thank you for your interest and curiosity. If you're interested in some insects or arthropods, write your questions in comments. You didn't write what is your home country yet. Somebody from English-speaking country, you can write what country did you come from to this chat. We had visitor Sofia who didn't write what is your home country. If someone can write home country will be interesting to know. What is your home country? What is your home city? This video was translated from Kyiv, capital of Ukraine. I'm a professional entomologist. Welcome to my channel to watch more videos about insects, about entomology and science and about nature. Welcome to watch more videos about natural environment and natural behavior of insects and other arthropods. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're first visitor. Don't forget to subscribe. Or don't forget to visit my Patreon page for donations or YouTube channel sponsorship link. Thank you for coming, and don't forget, stand with Ukraine. Don't forget, support Ukraine. Don't forget, help to Ukraine. And Ukraine will win. See you soon on my channel. See you soon on my new video. Welcome to my new streams on YouTube and in TikTok. Bye bye.